Hello and welcome to Tech Solution Hub. We're thrilled to announce that we've reached a major milestone, 500 subscribers. We're grateful for your support and trust in our content. We want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for being part of our community. Your engagement, feedback and encouragement mean the world to us. As we continue to create content that empowers visually impaired individuals, we need your continued support. Please keep liking, commenting, and sharing our videos with others. Together, we can make a difference and create a more accessible world. Let's keep growing together.
The instrumental for this video is provided by InnerSanctum Entertainment Ltd.
Good day everyone. This is our series exploring Windows environment with a screen reader. And the screen reader in use is NVDA, which stands for Non-Visual Desktop Access. So before you start exploring the Windows, you need to know where all the keys on your keyboard are placed. So to do that, you use your NVDA key plus 1. NVDA key plus 1. I have just called a key NVDA key. What are NVDA keys? NVDA keys are modifier keys. They are keys that you press with another key to tell NVDA that perform this action for me. For example, if I press NVDA Shift B,
99% plugged in,
it tells me the battery status. If I do NVDA plus F12,
10:32:45,
it tells me the time. So modifier keys are keys, like I said, which you press with another key to tell NVDA that this is what I want you to do for me. And remember that the job of NVDA is to tell us what is happening on our screen. So now I told you that to be able to know where the keys on your keyboard are, you do NVDA plus 1. Take note that your NVDA key is your caps lock key, and how to place it as your caps lock key we'll take it in the next class. NVDA key plus 1, which is the first key on the 4th row and the second key on the 2nd row.
input help on.
You heard NVDA say input help on. So now any key you input, NVDA will tell you what it is.
Escape. F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, F8, F9, F10, F11, F12. Print screen. Delete. Home. End. Page up. Page down.
So that is the first row of my keyboard. So let me go to the second row.
Graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 dash equals backspace. Numlock on. Numlock plus numbit multiply. Numlock plus numbit minus.
So that is the second row. So I'm going to the third row now.
Tab. Q W E R T Y U I O P. Left bracket, right bracket, backslash, numlock numbered 7, numlock numbered 8, numlock numbered 9, numlock plus numbered plus.
So I'm going to the 4th row now.
NVDA.
You see, it's supposed to say caps lock, but because it's a modifier key, that's why it told you NVDA. So
A S D F G H J K L semi-tick, enter. Numlock numbered 4, numlock numbered 5, numlock numbered 6, numlock plus numbered plus.
So now we're going to the 5th row.
Left shift. C X C V B N M comma dot / right shift. Numlock number 1, numlock number 2, numlock number 3, numpad enter.
So that is the 5th row. So we are going to the 6th row now,
Left control.
which is the last row.
Left Windows, left Alt space. Right Alt, right control, left arrow, down arrow. Right arrow. Numlock number 0, numpad decimal, numpad enter.
So that is the keys on this laptop. I'm using keyboard. Now I want to turn it off, so I'm going to do NVDA +1.
NVDA +1, input help off.
So it is the same way to turn your keyboard help on, and it's the same way to turn off your keyboard help. So now, what is the next thing we are going to do? We are going to look at what is actually on our desktop. When you just power on your system opens desktop. A sighted person can just glance through and see every information on the screen. But for us, we need to tell NVDA, okay, this is where I'm going to, this is where I'm going to, because the desktop using NVDA is divided into 4. We have the start, we have the desktop, we have the taskbar, and we have the notification bar. So we are going to explore these 4 sections of our desktop. So the first one we are going to be looking at is the start button, which we activate with the Windows key. Remember, the Windows key is on the last row, the 3rd key. So if I just press it,
Start, search box blank.
so it told me start search box blank. Information it just gave me now is start is open, there is a search box, and the search box is currently blank. So do we understand? That means we need to type something into it, and what this search box does is it searches for things in our system. In case we just need to quickly look for something in our system, or quickly open an app or a document, we can just come here and search for it. So let's do a practical. Now I want to search for Google Chrome, so I'm going to use Chrome, CHROME, but I'm going to type C first.
Google Chrome.
So
app.
that was the
Press right
first
to switch
result
preview 1 of
it
3.
brought up. Let me search for something else. I for iTunes, ITUNES. So
iTunes.
So
app.
it has
Press
given
right
us
to switch
I
preview
for
1 of 5.
iTunes. Now maybe I want to go to my system controls, which is the control panel. I just do C.
Google Chrome.
Told me
app.
Google
Press
Chrome.
right to switch
Remember, we're
preview
looking
1 of
for
5.
control panel. So O.
Control panel.
So
app.
you see that
Press
I
right
needed to
switch
add
preview 1 of 4.
O for the control panel. And we should please note that when typing what we are looking for on this window, don't just type it very fast, except you already know what you are looking for. Because when you type CON fast, NVDA will be more particular about what you are typing instead of the result showing. So that's why it's good to type maybe a letter, wait for the result, type another letter, wait for the result, and so on and so forth. Now that we are done with the start, I'm pressing my escape to leave the start. We are going to the desktop to see what is on our desktop. To get to the desktop is Windows plus D, Windows plus D, or Windows plus M, Windows plus M, M for microphone. Why are we using these 2 different keyboard commands? It is because some systems use Windows D while some use Windows M, and some also accept both of them. So it depends on the system you are using. We are going to do Windows D now.
Folder view, Reaper, x64, 4 of 31.
So it has told me that it is a folder view. And it also told me that my selection is currently on Reaper, and Reaper is the 4th item out of 31 items. What happens in desktop? Now, desktop is a place where you can put shortcuts to apps on your system, shortcuts to files on your system, things you are just currently working on. To navigate through the desktop, you use your up and down arrow, your left and right arrow. When a folder opens, it opens in two ways. Either it opens in the grid view or in the list view. Now, grid, G-R-I-D, grid view. Grid view is like a table. It has columns and it has rows. So when navigating through the grid view, you need to use your up and down arrows, left and right arrows, as the case may be. The list view, normal, a list, up and down. To navigate through a list, you use your up arrow and your down arrow. Now that we have spoken about the up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, right arrow, now the next thing we need to look at is the home and end keys. The home and end keys. What the home key does is when you press it, it takes you to the first item on the list. Then if you press your end, it takes you to the last item on the list. So if you want to go to the top rapidly, or you want to come to the bottom, you just press your home or your end. You can also use first letter navigation. Now, what is a first letter navigation? A first letter navigation is a style of navigation when you use the first letter in the name of the item you are looking for. For example, now we heard Reaper, we heard NVDA. There are a lot of apps on my desktop right now that I created shortcuts for. So if I want to go straight to maybe iTunes, I just press my
iTunes 31 of 31.
So it takes me to iTunes. But if I press my again, it won't say anything, because iTunes is the only app shortcut that carries I. Maybe there are other items on the desktop that carries another letter. What it does, it goes to the next one, the next one, the next one, and wraps back to the first one it told you. So let's do T, because I have, I think, 4 items that carry T. So let's go to T.
T. This PC 6 of 31.
So this PC.
T. Top speed 310 of 31. T. TQ transcriber 11. T. Tunnel bearer 16 of 31. T. TDBX short T. This PC 6
so
of 31.
It wrapped back. So that is how you do your first letter navigation. So we have covered the desktop. Now let's go to the taskbar. You get to the taskbar by pressing Windows T. Windows T. T for task. T-A-S-K. Then bar. B-A-R. So let's go.
T. Top speed 310 of 31. Microsoft Edge.
So it told me Microsoft Edge. That is the first item on my task bar. Take note that sometimes, because when we did this in the afternoon class, we had different results when we did Windows T. Some system told you that it was on the taskbar by just saying taskbar, while some just mentioned the first item that was on the list. Now, depending on the kind of system you have, you should note that when you do Windows T, it takes you straight to your taskbar. So no matter what it says, you should know that you are on the taskbar. And what does this taskbar do? Taskbar is a place where we see apps that are opened. That means tasks that are running. If I open a software, for example, it will show on the taskbar. The icon will show on the taskbar that this app is opened. That is what the taskbar is for. Viewing apps that are open. But we can't be going to our taskbar every time when we need to change apps, because there's a problem with the taskbar currently. You can't do first letter navigation on the taskbar in Windows 11. I think you can do first letter navigation on Windows 10, I think, because the last time I used a Windows 10, I was able to do first letter navigation on Windows 10, but on Windows 11, it's not working. So now let me see what's on my taskbar.
File Explorer. Microsoft Store, Unigram, All About PDF, WhatsApp, Reaper, x64, one running window.
You see that NVDA gave us an extra information for Reaper. It told us that Reaper is running, but the other items it told us, they were not running. They were just apps that I have pinned to my taskbar. We will look at how to pin things to our taskbar later. To move from app to app without coming to the taskbar, you use Alt Tab. Alt Tab. Your Alt key is the fourth key on the last row, and your Tab is the first key on the third row. So we do Alt Tab now.
Windows Environment and the Screen Reader Part 1 Exploring the Desktop Modified Reaper v7.06 Registered to Edgeman.
So
Commercial License.
It's just telling me the name of what is open. Remember, I told you that Reaper is open. So that's the title of the recording I'm doing on Reaper. So let me Alt Tab again.
Tap Windows Environment and the Screen Reader. Windows Environment and the Screen Reader Part 1 Exploring the Desktop Modified Reaper v7.06 Reg.
You see that it mentioned Reaper again because that is the only app currently on the screen. So now that we have explored the taskbar, let's go to the notification bar by doing Windows B. Windows B.
Notification chevron.
So it told me notification chevron. That is the first thing on the notification bar. So whenever you hear that, just know that you have gotten to the notification bar. So this is where you see notifications on happenings in your system. Let's go through it with up and down or right and left arrow. So let's see.
Windows Environment and the Screen Reader Part 1 Exploring the Desktop Reaper v7.06 Registered to Edgeman. Commercial Listen. Windows Environment and the Screen Reader Part 1 Exploring the Desktop Reaper v7.06 Registered to Edgeman. Commercial Listen. Battery status. Fully charged. 100.
So my battery is fully charged.
Not connected. No connections are available.
So that is where we go to connect our system. Just told us that not connected and there are no connections available.
Speaker 76.
So my speaker currently is 76. That means my system speaker is 76.
System clock 10:53 a.m. 11/18/2024.
So it just told us the
system clock 10:53 a.m.
So it is 10:53 a.m. Told us the time.
Action Center. One new notification.
So that is the Action Center. It's telling me that I have one new action to perform. That are the things you are expected to see in the notification bar. But now, we went to the notification bar and we saw our battery status and we saw our date and time. I don't know whether you were following me at the beginning when I told NVDA to tell me what my battery status is and what the time is. So I'm going to do it again. To check the time without going to the notification bar to tell NVDA to tell you the time, you do NVDA plus F12.
10:54:29.
10:54:29. If I hold down my NVDA key and press F12 twice.
10/2024 11/18 323 ideographic period.
It tells me the date. Now I want to check what my battery status is. So I do NVDA Shift B.
100% plugged in.
So it has told me that it's a 100% and it is plugged in, meaning it's connected to power. So that brings us to the end of today's class. Thank you for listening.
Before you go, subscribe to Tech Solutions Hub for more useful contents like this.